I've been using Sway Funded for the past 30 days and now I'm ready to tell you my honest review. First, I'm gonna give you an overview of this platform. Then I'm going to show you which challenges they offer and what are the conditions. After that, I'm going to log in into my account to show you the backend. And finally, I'm gonna tell you what are all the pros and cons about using Sway Funded. Remember, if at any point during this video you also would like to try this platform, you can do so by clicking the first link in the video description. Using that link will allow you to purchase a challenge, taking advantage of any promotion or discount currently available. So, if you're serious about trying Sway Funded, I suggest use that link. And now, let's start with the review. So, I'm currently on the home page of Sway Funded, and the first things that we can see are a few of the numbers connected to this platform. So, first of all, they managed to pay out around $500,000. They had around 332 payout. The highest payout was $70,000, and currently they have more than 60,000 users. Two more interesting numbers about Sway Funded are 4.2 and 729. In fact, as you can see, currently they have an average score of 4.2 on Trustpilot, and they received more than 700 different reviews. So of course, this is something that put immediately Sway Funded in the category of trustworthy platform. Going back to the homepage of Sway Funded, if we continue to scroll down, a few more interesting information about this platform are the fact that they offer daily payouts, and this is only possible because, as you can see here, once you are funded with real money, and this is an A-book platform. This means that the money that they use for your payouts are the exact same money that you extracted from the market with your winning trades. Contrary to what happened with a lot of other platforms, also called B-booked platform, where the money that they use for your payouts are generated from the money of the other traders that purchased a challenge and then failed. Of course, as you can imagine, this type of platform is more sustainable long term, and one additional perks of this type of platform is that, as you can see, they are able to offer you daily payouts, because they don't need to wait to collect the money from losing traders. Also, as you can see here, the profit split is set at 80% and there is no trailing drawdown. Currently, Sway Funded offer three different types of challenge. We have Rapid Challenge, which is basically a one-step challenge, Regular Challenge, which is a two-step challenge, and then they also have the No Consistency Challenge, which is basically a three-step challenge without any consistency rule. But now, let me show you more in details what are the conditions of each one of these type of challenge. So when it comes to the Rapid Challenge, as you can see, they go from 1k till 200k, and the profit target for phase 1 is either 15% or 30%. This is based on the type of add-on that you decide to use, but don't worry, because once I log in into my account, I'm gonna show you what are all the type of add-ons that you can use to personalize your challenge. And once you are funded, again, you have a profit target of 15 or 30%, and in both cases you have unlimited days to complete the challenge. The minimum trading days instead are 4 for both phase 1 and the funded phase, and the maximum daily drawdown it's either 5% or 10%, while the maximum overall drawdown, that as we have seen is not trailing but is based on the initial balance, is either 10% or 20%. For both phase 1 and the funded phase, the maximum leverage is up to 1 to 100. And in this case, a 1k rapid challenge is only going to cost you $15. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the best features about Sway Funded, because they are one of the few platforms currently on the market that offer challenges below $20. Not only that, if for example you decide to go with a regular challenge, if you pick a 1k account, in this case the price is only going to be $10. When it comes to the rules, as you can see, phase 1, which is called assessment, has a profit target of 10 or 20%, while phase 2, which is confirmation, again profit target of 10 or 20%, and then once you are funded, the profit target remains the same. And as I told you before, you have this option because based on the add-on that you select, the target is going to change. The minimum trading days is 4 for each phase, the maximum daily drawdown is going to be 5% or 10%, while the maximum overall drawdown is 10% or 20%. Also in this case, the maximum available leverage is 1 to 100, and as I was telling you before, the price, if you decide to go with a 1k challenge, is only going to be $10. Also, I forgot to mention that for all this challenge, once you get funded, you receive a 100% refund of the fee that you paid to purchase the challenge. And finally, we have the No Consistency Challenge. In this case, as I was telling you before, this is a 3-step challenge. So we're gonna have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then the funded. In this case, as you can see, the profit target is either 10 or 20%, and you always have a limited day. The minimum trading days is 4 for each phase. The maximum daily drawdown is again 5 or 10%, while the maximum overall drawdown is 10 or 20%. The leverage is still 1 to 100, and in this case, if you decide to go with a 1k challenge, the price is only going to be $12. As I told you before, the 3-step challenge doesn't have any consistency rule, while the others have it. So now let me show you what this consistency rule means and what is the value. So when it comes to consistency rule, as you can see, during phase 1, the consistency rule is set at 30%, while on phase 2 is 40%, and phase 3, which is in this case the funded account, is still 40%. This basically means that you cannot have a single day that represent more of this percentage of profit. Let's say for example that you are in phase 1 and your profit target is $1,000. This means that in a single day you cannot make more than $300. But in case you forget about this rule, or for whatever reason you end up having a day where, for example, you profit $400, in this case the challenge won't be considered failed and you won't have to purchase a new account. Simply your target is just going to be moved to make sure that your highest profit day is not more than 30% of the overall profit that you need to reach. And if we scroll a bit lower on this page, as you can see, here we have a screenshot of the dashboard inside Sway Funded account, and as you can see, you won't need to do too many math calculation. In fact, based on the way that you are trading, they're gonna tell you here all the numbers that you need to know, so you always know what is the maximum amount of profit you should aim for to respect the consistency rule. So now that I give you an overview of Sway Funded and I also show you all the type of challenges that they offer, let me log in into my account and let me show you the backend. So as soon as you log in into your account, the first thing that you are able to do is purchase a challenge. So as you can see, the only trading platform currently supported is Liquid Charts. Don't worry if you're not familiar with it, because later I'm gonna actually log in into my Liquid Charts account and I'm gonna give you an overview of how this trading platform look. But I'm gonna be honest with you, if you're familiar with platform like for example MatchTrader, TradeLocker or CTrader, you won't have any problem, and I think that in maximum 30 minutes to 1 hour, you're going to understand how everything works. So below the trading platform, you're going to be able to pick what is the type of challenge that you want. So 1 step, 2 step, or 3 step. Then you're gonna be able to pick the size of your account. And then at the end, as I was telling you before, you're gonna have various add-ons that you can select. So for example, you have the option to increase your profit split from 80-20 to 90-10. Then you're also gonna have the option to switch from a trailing drawdown to a fixed drawdown. And then you have this add-on that basically determine which is going to be your profit target. In fact, as you can see here, you can update your drawdown limits to 20% overall and 10% daily for phase 1 and phase 2. But if you decide to go with this add-on, your profit target will be increased to 20% for phase 1 and 16% for phase 2 and 3. While for Rapid Challenge, it will be increased to 30% for phase 1. So basically, you have the option to increase the total amount of drawdown that you have, but at the same time, if you decide to do that, also your profit target is going to increase accordingly. And the last add-on is the profit target reduction. In fact, if you select this add-on, as you can see, your profit target will be decreased by 2% at any phase. Another thing that I would like to show you inside Sway Funded backend is this section related to trading events. Once you click on it, you're gonna have an overview of the economic calendar, and this is important because not only is going to show you the name of the upcoming events and also which country and currency is going to be more affected by it. But if you look here on the left where it says trading forbidden, you can see that it is written allowed. Why this is important? Because according to Sway Funded, as we can see here, you are allowed to trade most news events without any restriction. But there are certain events where some restriction may apply, and in this case you're not allowed to open or carry in position 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after the event. So having this economic calendar directly in your dashboard is really useful, because if for example you are planning to trade a news event, you can quickly come here and see if you're allowed to hold your position during this specific event. Now another section of this backend that I would like to show you is this part here called leaderboard. In fact, if you click on it, you're gonna be able to see the leaderboard related to the challenges and also to the payout. Now when it comes to challenges, you're able to see all the active challenges and get access to a few information about them, as you can see here. Below it, you have the leaderboard related to the payouts. In this case, you can see all the payouts that were made by Sway Funded. You can see the amount, you can see the country where the trader were from, and also you can see how long ago the payment was made. In this case, as you can see, the top 4 payouts were all released to the same trader that in this case has profited more than 100,000 just by trading with Sway Funded. And finally, the last section that I would like to show you inside the Sway Funded backend are the leagues. The leagues are basically contests or competition that are organized by Sway Funded, where you basically have the opportunity to join and compete against other traders to win cash prizes. But to be honest with you, according to my experience, this feature inside Sway Funded is not really taken care of. In fact, as you can see, currently there are no active leagues, and also the one that were active before didn't got a lot of success. So this is definitely something where Sway Funded could improve. So now that I give you an overview of the backend, let me log in into Liquid Charts and let me show you briefly how that trading platform works. So I just logged in into my Liquid Charts account, and as I told you before, if you're familiar with platforms like TradeLocker, CTrader or MatchTrader, what you're seeing right now is probably gonna look familiar. So here in the center of the screen we have the charts. Currently the markets are closed, so for this reason the price is not moving inside the charts, but of course if this was a normal trading day you will see the price going up or down. In this case I'm currently on the 4 minutes, so each candle represents 4 minutes, but by just clicking here, as you can see, coming here, I'm able to select my time frame. So let's say that I want to look at a 1 minute chart. By just clicking on it, as you can see, it changed, and now every candle represents 1 minute. Talking about candle, if we decide to click on this button here, we have the option to personalize our chart style. So in this case I have candles, but if you want you can pick hollow candles, OHLC bars, etc. So let's say that I click in here, as you can see now the candle have changed and they are now hollow. Next to it, we have the option to change how our cursor looks. So in this case, I'm using arrow, but I know that there are people that prefer the crosshair. So as you can see, by just clicking on it, the cursor is going to change. Next to it, we have the compass that basically allow us to select which indicator we want to use. By just clicking on it and then clicking on add indicator, as you can see, we have access to an extensive list of indicators. And as you can see, if I start scrolling down, there are really a lot of different indicators that you can use. So probably no matter which type of strategy you use, here you're gonna find the indicators that you can use with it. Next to the compass, we have this pen that is basically our drawing instruments. In fact, as you can see, it's gonna allow us to add icons or bar markers inside the charts. And if we click here on Start Trading, we have access to all the drawing instruments present on Liquid Charts. Next to it, we have this diamond that basically allow us to create chart presets. So let's say that, for example, you trade different instrument, and for each instrument you like to have different indicator and different charts. Using this function we can basically create presets and then simply load them as you change your asset. Next to it, we have this gear icon that is basically related to all the setting of the charts, where, for example, as you can see, you can decide what you want to show or not show on the chart, or you can also take a screenshot if, for example, you like to post your chart on social media, or maybe you put the screenshot and then you put them inside your trading journal. With this option you can easily do it. Next to it, we have the target icon that basically allow us to create price alert. And finally, the Liquid Chart logo. This is related to the management of your orders. In fact, inside Liquid Charts you have two different options to create and manage your order. One that I will consider a shortcut. In fact, as you can see here on the extreme right of the chart, we have this blue bar and this red bar. This basically allow you to open buy or sell order on the go. So let's say, for example, that I'm on the blue bar. This will mean that I want to open a buy order. Now I can scroll up or down to decide the price where I want to open the order, and then let's say that I want to open it here. I can simply click on it, and now as you can see I have a pending buy order. Next to it, I also have the option to set my stop loss and my take profit. So in this case I can move the take profit up, and as you can see is going to move, and then I can move down my stop loss, and in this way I also have a visual representation of the trade that I'm planning to take. And inside the take profit and the stop loss I can also see what will be my expected profit if price hit my take profit, and what will be my expected loss if price hit my stop loss. And of course here I have the option to increase the amount of lots that I want to trade, and the profit and the loss is going to change accordingly. And by simply clicking on this button here, I can delete the order. And I can do the same thing, but for a sell order, by just selecting the price and then clicking while my cursor is on the red bar. In fact, in this case, let's say that again, at the same price point, I decide to open a sell order by just clicking like this. As you can see now, I have a pending sell, so my take profit is going to go down. My stop loss is going to go up, and as you can see also in this case, based on the amount of lots that I'm going to trade, I can see what will be my expected win and what will be my expected loss. So this was the quick way to open a sell or buy order. If, for example, you want to have more control of the type of order that you're going to open and want to have a more granular view, by just clicking on the liquid chart logo here, as you can see now, you have access to more precise options when it comes to order management. So, for example, you can decide if you want to open a sell or a buy order. You can decide if you want to be a market, limit or stop. Then you can decide the amount of lots that you want to trade. And then when it comes to stop loss and take profit, based on your strategy, you can decide how you want them to be set. So, for example, you can set the stop loss based on PEEP, price, percentage of equity, percentage of balance, cash risk, bar high or buy low. And the same things also apply for the take profit. Now, looking at the left side of the liquid charts dashboard, as you can see here, you have a list of the assets that you can trade. In this case, the list is pretty short because these are only the assets that I'm looking at. But let's say that you want to add more assets, or you want to have a look at all the assets that you can trade on liquid charts, by simply click here on list and then going here where it says add, you're gonna have the add market menu. Here you can go on select from market list, and once you're here, as you can see, clicking on all, now you have access to all the instruments that you are able to trade on liquid charts. And as you can see, there are a lot of them. They go from Forex Major, Forex Minor, Forex Exotic, commodities, stock indices, metals, cryptocurrency, equities. So unless you're a future trader, here you're going to find all the assets that you trade more commonly. And let's say, for example, that I like to trade gold. I can simply come here on metals, select gold, click on it, click on save. As you can see, now gold has been added to the list of instruments, and if I click on it, now the chart has changed and now I'm looking at the price of gold. Additionally, beside the bid and the ask, if I scroll toward the right, I can also see the spread of the instrument. Of course, right now the markets are closed, so the spreads are only an indication. They don't represent the reality. But as you can see, I would say that overall they are good. And personally, since trading with liquid charts, I never experienced any problem related to having extremely high spreads. Now, below the list of assets and the chart, you have an overview of all your trades. In this case, as you can see, it says no trades or orders. But as you trade with your account, here you're gonna have an overview of all the trades that you're taking, and you're gonna get access to a few important information. So this is the standard layout of liquid brokers. But by clicking on this button here on the left corner, as you can see, you have a few more options to personalize your layout. So let's say, for example, that I'm only focusing on one single pair. By simply clicking on charts, as you can see here now, the entire screen is taken by my charts. Or let's say that I'm interested in looking at all the charts that I taken today so that I can journal them. By simply clicking on trades, as you can see now, the entire screen is taken by all my trades. And if I want to go back to the standard dashboard, by simply click on home, as you can see, now I have the dashboard that we were seeing at the beginning. Not only that, by going here and clicking on add, as you can see, you also have the opportunity to create a personalized layout where, for example, let's say that you don't care about the recap of all your trades, you just want to have the list of assets and the charts. You can select a 2-column layout, and now the dashboard is gonna look exactly how you want it. So as I told you before, as you can see, this trading platform is pretty intuitive to understand, and once you start placing a few trades and start using it, everything is gonna look extremely familiar. So now that I give you an overview of SwayFunded, we talk about the challenge that they offer, I show you the backend and also the trading platform, it's now time for me to tell you what in my opinion are all the pros and cons about using this platform. So the first pro related to SwayFunded is the fact that this is an A-book platform. So this basically means that when you are trading against other traders, and the money that you make are directly extracted from the market. The platform is not using the fees paid by losing traders to pay your profit. And as I told you, this is extremely important because it basically guarantees the platform as a business model that is sustainable long term. And so this of course decreases the probability of the platform going out of business, and also increase the probability that you're always going to receive your payouts without any problem. The second pro, which is connected to this aspect, is the fact that you are able to request daily payouts. In fact, once you reach the status of funded, you can literally request a payout every single day, simply because your money are immediately available as soon as you extract them from the market. And the third pro, in my opinion, are the low prices. In fact, as I show you, SwayFunded is one of the few platforms that allow you to purchase a challenge for less than $20. Of course, in this case, the size of the challenge that you're going to purchase is not really big. In fact, we're talking about a 1K challenge, but it's still pretty good. And even in the case you decide to go with a bigger challenge, let's say for example a 10K, 20K, 50K challenge, also in this case I think that the prices of SwayFunded are competitive. Now let's talk about the cons. Personally, during my testing of SwayFunded, the only cons that I noticed is about the competition. In fact, as I told you before, they introduced this function, but in my opinion is being pretty overlooked, both by them and also by the traders. So much so that in my opinion they could even remove it because it wouldn't do any difference. So if you are one of those traders that beside trading against the market also like to trade against other traders in a more direct way, you know, where you are able to see a leaderboard and compete with them head to head, I don't think that this is the platform for you because this part of the platform has been completely neglected. So there you have it. This was my review of SwayFunded. As I told you at the beginning, if you would like to try this platform, you can do so by clicking the first link in the video description. Using that link will allow you to take advantage of any discount or promotion currently available. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, and until next time, happy trades!